No matter your age, you need to think about your financial future. And of course, the stock market is something you keep an eye on with a 401k, maybe other investments. Great to have Alan Lancz with us this afternoon from Lancz and Associates, a nationally recognized investment firm. And Alan, so many questions to ask you. We talked a lot during the pandemic on a regular basis about how the economy was going to bounce back from the whole thing. We'll get to that in a minute, but today the markets went down a lot again. September's been a brutal month, and I was reading that statistically, September every single year, going back to 1920, September's the bad month.
Yeah, it seems like the summertime, people are positive or investing, and the market goes high. In July, we wrote a newsletter where we talked about historic tide. Market's going to be high. You're up 19% in 7 months. Take some profits. And that's what's happened. It's not only been September, Dan, but August is down too. And, I think investors are starting to realize inflation is still going to be here. Interest rates are still going to be heading higher. Then you got all those uncertainties with strikes and shutdowns, et cetera, to add even to the hurdles we had before.
Yeah, there's so many headwinds overseas as well as here. The war in Ukraine has certainly not helped a lot of things, but right now we've got the strike is a huge problem. A lot of people are now unemployed for a period of time. How long is this going to take to get out of it?
Well, some of it's short term, like the government shutdown is going to be short term. I think the strike will be too, as far as that goes. But it's the ramifications then. Do we have more inflation, higher for longer because of higher income, and things like that. It's not only Ukraine and Russia, but it's also geopolitically with China and North Korea, et cetera. There's a lot of uncertainty, and I think when the markets are really high, everybody's expecting good news, and you really want to pull in your horns. Beginning of the year, everybody was negative. Expectations were low. We thought we're going into recession, and that's why the market's up so much. We're not going to go into recession, but we're going to have a slowdown. How much? So, take advantage of those swings and, sell when the market's high, and then basically buy when everybody's getting negative, which is starting to happen now.
What did we learn from the pandemic?
I think we learned as far as not to panic out of things, because there were a lot of good opportunities when the market sold off, and the people that, again, when the market was high 2020, early 2020, that was a good time to take some profits. And then you had this big sell-off. The investors that took advantage and bought that, did really well. Even now, the market's been down for 3-4 weeks, but energy has done well. So there are pockets of opportunity. It's just a matter of being selective instead of just buying across the board. Also, now you can get good yields on CDs and T-bonds and T-bills of 5-6%, where a year ago it was 2%. So that's another thing that investors can look at to take advantage of the opportunities with interest rates going higher. It's going to slow down the economy, hurt the stock market, but it's also going to give people some interest finally for their savings.
It's interesting how we evolve, new things come up. For example, 20, 30 years ago, the chip industry wasn't happening. And now the AI industry has come out of nowhere, and now that's a thing. What's out there even in the future?
Well, AI is big, and sometimes that euphoria gets carried away, and I think that's happened, with some of these companies. Everybody's into AI now. Well, there's only going to be a certain number of companies that make money in, AI, and I think that's what you really want to take advantage of it and look at those companies. Don't get caught up in the hype with IPOs and what have you, but, see what companies are deriving revenue, not just talking about AI is really the bottom line.
Alan, always good to talk to you. I could talk to you for a half an hour. We could do the entire show on this, but you're just fascinating. Make sure you come back. We'll have you down the road in maybe a couple months, okay?
Sounds really good. Enjoyed it.
Alan, thank you so much.